see that? Do you feel that? Do you feel like defenses are kind of catching up with not only what you guys have been doing, but just spread concepts from the league?
Maybe a little bit. I think probably the numbers would say that as well. You look at it and, these offenses adapt every year. Every 5 years you see certain plays, concepts that usually work. And then I can take it to a year by year. I mean, you can see in a 3-week span a particular player concept that works, and then other teams are doing it. And then all of a sudden, 3 or 4 or 5 weeks later, then it gets shut down. And so you kind of take that year by year. There's concepts that teams do. And defenses, I think these coordinators have done a really good job of really mixing things up, not predictable. There's not a lot of tendencies. And so with that, you have to be able to adjust to that. So I would say, yeah, there's probably a little bit to that, which makes you on offense make sure that you really know where you're going to go with the throws, how you're going to block, et cetera.
But in the AFC title, what did you see in your review first half versus second half as far as what was that?
I thought that coming out to start that first half was so important to get a lead, to stay ahead of the chains, not getting 3rd and long in that game. When Pat made that throw to Travis for the touchdown to start, I knew we were going to be in good hands throughout the rest of the game. That was just such a special throw, a great catch. It was really good defense by them. But, you get some momentum, you get some first downs. We would have loved to have had that screen at the end there to go up 21-7. Didn't get it. And then the second half, just too many 3 and outs. I do think some of that was how the game was going on our defense versus their offense. Field position wasn't as good. We had one where we got to stop, backed up, and we ended up moving the ball to about midfield. We punted them down and flipped the field darn near, whatever it was, 80 yards, 90 yards, and that's a part of that game. So we know we got to be better, and we weren't as good that second half.
Kadarius Toney hasn't played in a while.
Mm-hmm.
How did he look in practice yesterday?
Yeah, I thought he looked good. For us, it's a day-by-day thing for him and where he's at, and but all the guys right now, it's kind of an interesting week just because you do have that extra week. So just really mentally keeping the pace up for everybody, but also physically trying to make sure that you don't lose your conditioning as well. But he did good.
Is he in a good, for lack of a better term, headspace?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. And again, we're evaluating all that with every player every day, just kind of seeing where they're at. We want to be able to see it in practice. It's so important to be able to see these guys practice and see how they're doing individually, and then how they fit within the scheme and what we have.
Matt, you've spoken to this before, but in what ways do you see Travis set kind of the tone and tempo that maybe we don't see, whether it's practice or games, locker room?
Yeah, it's real. He's the energy that he brings is so contagious, and it's he's been doing this a long time with a lot of success, and when he brings that energy, people just feed off of it, and it's not easy to do that every day in practice and then take it to the game. Game day, he's always in a good place. Throughout the week, he's done a really good job this year of making sure that we follow him and Pat with that energy. I mean, our offense right now is in a good place feeding off of energy, and I think when those two guys have that energy, they follow.
Matt, with Marquez at the end of the game, having the catch to seal the game, just wondering if you kind of recap. Obviously, it was not in a great place mid-season with dropping this Eagles, but just his ability to bounce back, just what you've seen from him.
Yeah, it shows who he is. I mentioned it last week in this same meeting that Quez is a guy that's internally driven. He's mentally very resilient. He knows more than anybody that throughout the middle of the season, when there was some things going on, not just with him, but our offense in general, that we all look at ourselves. And so it's just crazy when you look back at that moment. I remember being on the field after he made that catch and just thinking, man, life is crazy. What he's gone through individually, what we've gone through. And for him to, stick through that, make a play, for Pat to trust him to throw him the football, I think that kind of, in a nutshell, explains who we are as a team, let alone more detailed our offense. The last play of that game comes down to that, and everyone executed. It wasn't just his good route. It wasn't just a good throw. There was good protection. There was other guys running good routes, and it ended the game in a moment that we needed that play.
Is that difficult to call that play in that moment?
No. Nope. To be completely honest with you, not at all. I mean, really, if the play is in a certain way, it's in with no hesitation, no reservation. So we put that play in, and I think everybody's seen the clip Pat saying that he, give me the ball in that situation, and that's what we get internally a lot. So in that moment, we're going to give him the ball, and he usually good things happen.
Yeah, we'll try a couple more guys. We'll go Todd, and then we'll go PJ. And we'll
Yep.
try to hear.
Hey, Coach, I know NFL is a copycat league in some respects. You kind of talked about that with the defense. Is Kyle Shanahan a guy that you might look at in the offseason, kind of see the innovative things he's doing? Is he a guy that you guys kind of look to?
Absolutely. He does a lot of great stuff. And I think the thing with Coach Shanahan is that he stays creative, does a lot of the stuff that they do really well, and finds different ways to window dress it. And he's got great players and great scheme. And when you match that together, you get to this point. So ton of respect for him. It's not something that's happened 1 or 2 years. It's been his whole career, and it's in the run game and the pass game.
Pat was telling us about the preparation process of how y'all would go through certain plays and how your time in Chicago kind of helped you call plays in these critical situations. Just how did that influence you being the head coach of Chicago?
Just situationally, being able to listen to the players and hear their input is so valuable. Especially, situational football is always important. When you get to the playoffs, when you get to these games, you want to make sure you're as prepared as you can possibly be. So we try to be really good at talking through and communicating situations. And sometimes those situations never come up, but it's that one time that they do. And when they do come up and they work, those are the ones that are fun because you can always use that for your next meeting. And I think the most important part of those meetings that we have, that I've learned as a coach in general, regardless of position, is listen to your players' input. If they trust the play and they have conviction in a play, it has a much better chance of working than if you like it more than them.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
All right.